I'm just going to start with a line. So, world over, the travel industry is in a big tech revolution. And very proudly, we can say that India is leading the way. With the kind of smarts that we have in the travel tech business, some of them are right here. Uh, we also have a huge pool of travel partners, and we also have the customers, the most important thing, right? So, today, as we speak about this, my first question would be at you, Sukesh. So, we have a very potent combination, right? Techies, travel, and the customers. So, since the topic is something about travel trends and acquisitions, the question is to you: what are the key trends driving investment and growth in the travel industry? What are the checklists that you usually look at, or various factors that you consider before investing or acquisition? How do you decide what are the trends, and can you elaborate on that?
Okay, it's a multi-layered question, all right? So travel by itself has a lot of layers, right? Are you investing in a B2C company? Are you investing in a B2B company? What is your persona as an investor? So depending on who you are, the entire investment strategy comes into play. And then you had some other questions on what do you look at when you...
So what are the key trends that drive
you look at,
these
right?
kind of mergers and acquisitions?
So let's just say that I'm an institutional investor. The key thing that I will look at is, are you able to disrupt the market, or are you a differentiator in the market? It has to be a great idea in disruption. Maybe you change the way things are done. A very simple example is, I like what Atlas is doing on Visa. Right? It's an age-old practice, but they are trying to disrupt it. They're trying to do something new around it. I like what Scapia is doing in travel. They're coming via the card route, and then they're trying to enable travel for the customer. So either it can be disruption or it can be a differentiator. What do we look for when we see, being in Flipkart, right? I have a unique ringside view, both from the B2C side and from the B2B side, on what kind of people are we trying to invest in. Pedigree of the founders, very, very important. You should be well known in the market. You should have a great idea of the industry that you are a part of. Your idea should be backed by a certain kind of an MVP. Maybe you have tested something in the market. It has stickiness attached to it. A very good GTM. You know exactly who your target segment is. You're not trying to do a lot of things for a lot of people. There is a specific niche market, and that market should have scale. Right? So these are the arenas that we would definitely look at if we were to do B2C. And then B2B obviously has a very different persona. I'll give you a very, very simple real life example. So if you remember, Cleartrip had Concur as its first investor. Now Cleartrip was an online travel company, and Concur is an expense and travel management platform, essentially taking care of corporate travel. The only reason why Concur invested in Cleartrip is because Cleartrip had a great tech stack. And Cleartrip helped them get that travel API into the Concur platform, which really, really propelled them. So we were just a cog in the wheel of Concur, but Cleartrip was a travel tech stack and hence investment. Fast forward to 2021, Flipkart invested in Cleartrip, but for a completely different reason. Flipkart believes that the India market will be won by grocery, electronics, fashion, and travel. These are the four big pieces of the Indian market. Electronics and fashion is something that they are already excelling in. Grocery is something that they are trying to solve. Travel, acquire a company which is a brand which has been there for a very, very long time, and introduce a new category called travel. That's the reason for acquisition, right? So again, how long have you been? And now when Flipkart wants to do something more with the Cleartrip banner, we will look at something that complements our business. If we are very good in, disconnected travel, which is flight and hotel, we would probably look for somebody who does a very good job of stitching together everything, maybe agentic AI. That's like the buzzword in the market at this point of time. If somebody can solve agentic AI, somebody can solve discoverability. A lot of people are going to Instagram, to YouTube, to figure out where they want to go. If somebody can solve a wave to latch on to them right where they are trying to discover their trip, and then bring them to the platform and then enable the booking to happen as well. I hope this monologue kind of served as an
Yes,
answer.
thank you so much. So, my friends out here, anybody who has this kind of a thing going, Sukesh is the guy for you. Catch him afterwards. Hi, my next question is to you, Manoj. Um, we all know Riya as the biggest consolidator, right? All of us probably at one point or some point of a time are associated with you. So, what are the technology investments that you are looking at today? And how important is the role of automation in your business? And in what areas does it help you? I can break the question.
Thank you. I think it's something I can speak about, unlike Sukesh. Thank you, first of all, Sanjay, Chirag, to inviting me for a session, which is, we are not a tech, we are a large B2B travel company, and we are a 42-year-old company, and we were not tech. I think until 2006, nothing was tech in our system. So post 2006, I think we started adopting a lot of tech, and automation was a key for us. That's the key from where we started, and today I can tell you inside our system we hardly use GDS actually. So there are front-end tools for our team members to take care of the frontline, all the airline to hotel to everything. Okay, so we have moved from pure just GDS offline bookings to complete automation in terms of internally and externally also. We have, unlike as others have, a B2B portal which our partners can get into, latch into and do the bookings. And here I'm not talking about only on the air piece, I'm talking about all that. Hotel, we are pretty large on rail. Today we have almost 20,000 partners connected to with us on rail itself actually. And just to tell you, we have a mobile app and that's been used majorly by the railway agents, not by the air agents actually. So we have 40% of the transaction today on mobile happening on mobile, not for the air actually. So our investments are actually, related to those areas. For example, if the rail is the fundamental for our partners, so we invest more onto our mobile app, make sure that the bookings are much more smoother and much more better on a mobile for the rail actually. For hotel, it's very disconnected. I think still a lot of issues that we were offline, we were discussing with Sukesh. GST is still a big problem actually. So we were talking about connected trip before that. I think GST still doesn't make sure that we can complete that transaction there. The corporates or all the SMEs, they still can't complete that transaction till the time they don't have a complete invoice with them. So still there are a lot of pieces are there. That's where our time and money and tech investments are happening internally also and externally also.
So, there is a lot of scope because that kind of last mile connectivity is not met. Is that what you want to say?
Yes, and largely for the travel partners, not for the. So they are dealing with the customers, end customers.
Okay.
So we make sure that our 75 to 1 lakh travel partners are, be given with all the products which they require actually.
Okay. Great. Now I come to you, Avi, and tech and marketing. Actually, I feel it's the best combination ever because it's very different from the usual marketing and sales that we used to indulge in, like one hotel salesperson trying to catch up 5 people in a day, which is sort of impossible now. So, my question to you is how has technology helped in tourism and travel marketing? Can you highlight any tools or tech initiatives that one can use for, say, customer acquisitions, enhancing experiences?
Sure. So I come mostly from the hotels, specifically marketing side. And so a couple of things that we have seen in the last 1 year is that hotel brand managers, firstly they have brand managers now. So we celebrated that 2 years ago after being in existence for 15 years. That hotels now have brand managers, they recognize the importance of a dedicated CMO level person. Now when these people come in, typically a 52-week plan is created In those 52 weeks, we see the ideal customer avatar and their changes happening every week. For example, if it's a Lemon Tree Hotel or a Taj, they have different customer avatars. If I know that Daljit Dosanjh is touring and I already know the 28 cities he's going to go to, most hotels don't have their offers already online. If I know Coldplay is coming to these cities and I know what my rate could be, it could be 1 lakh, 2 lakhs, whatever, pricing is a different thing, but I already have all these. This does not require tech, AI or predictability. It's already on the paper. You look at the paper and it's already telling you most of these events where you're going to have, and you should not be caught by surprise. So when it comes to this, when we realize that why is it that every time we're taking these 52-week plans and talking about concert tourism or religious tourism or or a lot of people like a lot of spiritual leaders who are not very famous, maybe 90% of you don't know some of these names, but they have a cult following with 1 lakh people and they're coming to one place outside of Hyderabad. But Hyderabad for that week is going to be sold out and most AI and tech platforms who predict are going to miss that because he's not a Sadhguru or he's not a Sri Sri Ravi Shankar, he's a small form. Which brings us to communities. So I started with the concerts and trends and all of that. And all these trends for us, we pick up from Instagram. And we sort of chart it out and see what's working. Then comes communities. Now when it comes to communities, we look at micro communities. It could be somebody, I'm assuming he's 40, super fit guy, likes to wear, I'm assuming he treks, he lifts weights, he does all of that. So how am I going to target him on Instagram? For my hotel. I'm assuming he definitely wants a gym or, he's, the whole family is fit or whatever. If I show him the ad that he needs to see with AI, which I can do in 30 seconds, which he sees a person who looks very similar to him, he will resonate with that person and there is a huge chance that he will book that gym. It's not by chance that 3 out of 4 of us have our legs crossed. This is what happens when we look at each other. As human beings, there is a mirror reflection without knowing we do these things. So and Instagram knows that. So and Instagram knows us and it tells marketers that. So if I use an ad to any of these people, so that takes me to that point of community. I don't see many, like your question was tech and marketing, and I know I'm answering for first marketing. Because what I am doing right now is I'm seeing EdTech is build communities very well. So there are lots of EdTech tools. We're using those community tools to be able to put in travelers and see how they respond when they're with each other. And then those communities are being monetized and leveraged by hotels, which means that every hotel brand or an independent hotel has to have their own multiple sub-communities. They cannot have just a travel agent say, hey, I'm giving you a 10% or a 20% off, you get your communities. Hotels have these end customers staying, so their sub-communities, and so if I say that I come from a particular sub-community, when I say community means the way I like to travel, the way I like to work out, or the way I like to play golf. When I come, today an AI is going to recognize me from my eyesight. I go to a website. So the website changes and it shows me, for example, if I make my trip or a Cleartrip has 30 images per hotel booking, it should show me only those 5 images that relate to me. I don't have the 55 seconds to go to 20 images to be able to see, hey, this gym is the one I want and other pictures don't resonate with me. And all that is going to be made. Right now we are doing this for hotels all offline because we're an offline company, we are not tech. But on my side, I'm so happy to share these insights with a tech company who can very easily in the next few weeks build a layer on this and do a test and it'll fly. So that's where we are at. I know I didn't answer much of the tools and everything question, more on the marketing side, but this is what sort of resonates more with me.
Yeah, so, like Avi elaborated much in detail, to put it very simply, that I feel the tools available in market today, be it the tech tools available, they enhance the customer's experiences as well. So I'm sure a lot of hotels are using it. I don't know if we have hoteliers amidst us. So yes, technology and marketing, there is a need for bringing it and bridging this gap. And I'm sure we have people here who have these kind of solutions.
Sorry, just one more thing. There's an app called Suno.ai. You can curate an amazing song based on your likes, preferences, and then you can give it the kind of genre you want in less than 7 seconds. Hotels are now using it to welcome different guests 10 times a day. Your same background anthem is making your staff go to sleep. Your customers like it, they hear it for the first time, but even they are hearing it. Your staff is sleeping listening to that. And now a lot of people are using this free tool 7, 8 times to welcome different kinds of guests. So these are free experiences for people to explore.
So now this is a generic question, and any of you can take it. So coming back to this buzzword AI, which everybody is using, so the future of the travel technology world over is being shaped by AI, automation, sustainability, and immersive experiences. How do you think the Indian travel scape is embracing these innovations and changes?
There are all three different topics. Okay, so maybe sustainability. Let's
yeah.
pick sustainability, right? So look at what is happening in the Indian landscape at this point of time. Post COVID, everybody wants to travel. Demand is far outrunning supply. We just had Kumbh, or rather, it is still going on. Sustainability in the Indian landscape is still fairly new, right? I think today, in the Indian context, from a sustainability perspective, I think the only thing that we talk about is carbon footprint. In real terms, sustainability is that you went to a pristine place, you enjoyed nature or whatever that place is, and then when you came back, that place is exactly the way you saw it when you first went there. Right? I think that piece is not caught up yet with the Indian traveler. We do it in bits and pieces here and there, but I don't think that's an arena that we've caught up with. I think most of India is still trying to get into this act of traveling, act of exploring new places. Maybe it's not Kashmir and Kochi and Kerala anymore. Maybe Shillong is in the map now, a couple of other places. So I think sustainability, this is just a personal opinion, disclaimer. Sustainability will take time to come in, but maybe we are trying to be more responsible travelers from the perspective of adhering to the local customs or respecting the local people. I think that's where we are right now. Some time for sustainability for sure.
Can I just add? I think hotel industry is one which is visible on the sustainability. From not using a towel or ordering a towel multiple times to the water bottles been removed from the hotels. I think these are the few changes we can see sustainability real time in the hotel industry. I think the rest I don't see anywhere the travel except for the report what we generate on the carbon footprint actually, as you said rightly.
You mentioned about the AI part in this question. So what I feel is from an outsider, tech outsider, marketing mode, I see that Instagram and all these channels are influencing decision, like you said now Shillong. So, and travel providers are responding to that. And when I speak to travel providers and they say, how can we influence it? We can't have an influencing platform, right? You can. Every small hotel or travel company has data. They've segmented the data for themselves. We tried this with a hotel chain where they just segmented 7 different kinds of data sets, and they ran different ads without a call to action. So I won't call it a monetizable ad. So they ran ads which influenced the decision for people to come to their offbeat locations. So that is something which is free. You create a lookalike audience and all of that. But I can tell you, we work with approximately 500 hotels. Less than 50 hotels have adopted this, and the ones who have adopted have spent less than 1 lakh a month. So we are there, and there's so much more to be done.
Yes, so actually, Anurag has been signaling me to start closing this session. So, what I feel is that we have to use technology to enhance our travel experiences. A simple example, see, in layman's terms, if today I'm talking about Meghalaya right now, And if my apps are on, by the time I'm home, I'll have posts about Meghalaya. You know, we see all that while. If you're talking about Egypt, suddenly you will see an ad popping on Egypt on your Insta or your Facebook. So I think all the travel companies, especially OTAs, so say a Make My Trip or Cleartrip, for example, you should have something that actually tracks this and acquires a. I see it as a customer acquisition tool. For example, if you see that I'm booking Uttarakhand multiple times, it should tell you that I am a mountains person. My preference for holiday is a mountain. And probably somebody should build around creating those experiences and get customers. But that's my take on it. And of course, I have a lot to learn in tech, but I have embraced it bit by bit. I want to open this session for any questions you have to our panelists. Anybody in the audience want to share what you have with Sukesh or Manoj?
I am Marvel. This is for Sukesh. Obviously on the B2B side of business in Cleartrip, you work with partners. And for hotels on the other side, which is what we're selling to our end customers, you're consolidating supply. For hotels, it's very expensive, right? Because they end up giving a lot of commission to the OTAs or to a B2B partners from a commission standpoint. Now, on one side, you said there's a lot of supply, right? So, there's a lot of demand, right? So, the size of travel is growing, and at the same time, the overall average, price of these rooms are going up, right? The ADRs are up, and the commissions continue to go up as far as I speak to hotels and understand. Do you see this sustainable? Do you see a B2B model comprehensively, charging the same commission structures that are in place, or do you think, moderately this will go down in the next few years?
See, if I were to talk specifically about the India market, I think that whole B2B model of commissions is on a very shaky wicket right now. Especially if you were to see the trend from not 2022 really, but more so from 2023 onwards. This benefit or this advantage that we had of maybe a static price, net rates, pre-purchased inventory. I think the kind of margins and commissions that we were enjoying at that time um, is really not available to pick at that scale anymore. If I'll be very, very honest with you. One of the probable reasons for that is that the absolute keys available in India is being taken up by the number of people who are traveling. And I think the next set of supply is probably about, 2 to 3 years away. So in the Indian context, that's a significant problem for us. But a very, very interesting thing that is being observed is a person who's not able to fulfill that trip in India is now reaching out to a shorter destination outside of India. So Sri Lanka, Abu Dhabi, Oman, Vietnam. And that's where that mix is still in play. Very simple example, I know of a person who wanted to go to Kashmir about 4 months ago. It was so expensive that that person went to Muscat instead. Stayed at a better property, stayed for a whole week, and the trip costed about 60% less. But the person who booked it got an uptick in margin versus what could have happened over here. So it's purely a demand supply problem right now from a B2B margin perspective. But if you look outside, it is still good. And will it continue? No idea.
Can I just add? Can I just add? I think we are all talking about the tier 1 cities actually. Nobody is looking at the tier 2. Tier 2 has enough. The only problem is the infrastructure is not there to reach that hotel. Hotel is all available on tier 2, tier 3 properties actually.
But
and commissions are there for that. And
3-star wala, yeah, 4-star chains plus.
Whatever. I think you have properties, best of the property, you can ask him actually. So commissions are going to stay. Don't worry.
One question. This gentleman.
Am I audible?
Yeah.
I'll do that bit. I'll be a little louder. So, is there any startup that all of you look towards?
Is there any startup that you look towards that you think you should have done it but not been able to do? And or the other way of asking this question is there any startup that you guys are looking to acquire to add to your portfolio?
I think Walmart can.
Yeah, I think so. That was an interesting question.
See,
So-
I'm suffering a severe reputational damage since the past 2 years because we are looking at a lot of startups, okay? The question is, when are you acquiring? See, I think I explained like two of them, right? I said Atlas I really like, KPI I really like. I like what they're doing. Would we have done it if we had the opportunity? Maybe not, because we are still looking at scale. And that's a little more niche, so maybe we wouldn't have done it. Is there a startup that we are very keen on acquiring? Well, absolutely, we want to acquire a startup, but like I said, right, we either want disruption or we want differentiation. Haven't found anything yet, but very, very keen on looking, and we are continuing to hunt for the perfect partner. अभी तक नहीं है.
Can I add something? Sorry. So today there are a lot of solutions. Actually, we are all coming out the same solutions only. Today, still Uber and Olas are not able to give a solution to a lot of cab itself. We don't have still a good cab aggregator in India. You know, there are a lot of travel partners sitting here. They don't have a financial accounting solution with them actually. There are a lot of startups required to be reaching out to those kind of things. We are talking about earlier connected trips. Where are we on that? There are a lot of solutions can be brought on that. But most of the solutions are coming onto the existing stuff itself. So if there is something new comes out, I think then the people like Sukesh will be interested.
See, all the right ideas are there on the
Yeah.
table, okay? Don't get me wrong. All the right ideas are there on the table.
Yeah.
But this part of adoption and really making it happen is not coming together. And there are many theories. I mean, even agentic AI, there is this question, right? What if you have screenless booking experiences? What if people start booking on Perplexity and not Google? I mean, there are many questions, many answers, but just that part of adoption and making it happen is still a journey. But it'll happen, but still a journey. We have to keep watching.
Perfect. So I think.
Sorry, I'll just take 10 seconds on this. The point on people going on Perplexity. So this requires a different thinking. What I feel is there has to be, most founders are busy trying to see what AI can save their company and make them run for the next 10 years. So they're not thinking from what can happen from outside. So in that context, I like what Gestara is doing. So they're thinking before, during, and after a customer's journey coming into a hotel. And because he's young, he's thinking AI. So I don't know if I can acquire a company, but those are the people I definitely like to work with.
Perfect. So thank you all. Thank you so much.